Hello. In this video, we're going to talk about the area of a rectangle. Now, the area of this rectangle is going to be length times the width. That's just the area of a rectangle. Obviously, here's a rectangle, here's the length, here's the width. And you can use any variables that you want for these, but L usually stands for the length, W usually stands for the width. Let's look at this. A park has a rectangular area. Stop right there. Draw a rectangle. Sorry, I have a bit of an advantage on you on drawing a rectangle. Anyway, it has a rectangular area of 36,000 square yards. The width is 60 yards more than twice the length. Find the dimensions of the lot. Okay, so if I define the L here and the W here, I need to define a variable. I can let L equal something and I can let W equal something, but we only want one variable in the end. But here's the thing. The width is 60 yards more than twice the length. So the width is means W equals. W equals what? 60 yards more than, which means we're going to add 60 to something. More than what? Twice the length, which is what 2L represents. That means that W equals 2L plus 60. That means that you want to let the length, the L equal the length. So we're going to replace L with nothing, but we're going to replace W with 2L plus 60. And the reason that we do this is so that we can work with just a single variable. Awesome. Now, remember the formula, A equals LW. A is 36,000. L is just, well, L. And W is 2L plus 60. And at this point, notice that we have a quadratic equation. But before you set the L equal to 36,000, the 2L plus 60 equal to 36,000, which is what a lot of people try to do, we can't do that. Remember, quadratic, the zero factor property says that you can only set each factor equal to 0 and then set each factor equal to 0. Sorry, set the entire equation equal to 0 and then set each factor equal to 0. So what we're going to do is distribute the L first, making this 36,000 equals 2L squared plus 60L right there. And then get the 36,000 to the right-hand side, making this 0 equals 2L squared plus 60L minus 36,000. Awesome. And notice that in these three terms, there is a common factor. And that common factor in this case is 2. So I'm going to divide everything in here by 2. So 0 is equal to L squared plus 30L minus 18,000. Excellent. And at this point, you could factor this. This is factorable. But a lot of people have trouble with 180,000 here. Asking what multiplies to 180,000 and has a difference of 30. And if you can think of that off the top of your head, congratulations. Go ahead and just factor this. But because a lot of people can't, I'm not going to. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use the quadratic formula. A in this case is the number 1 in front of L squared. B is 30. And C is the constant, negative 18,000. The discriminant B squared minus 4AC will be 30 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 18,000. And then simplify. 30 squared is 900. And then plus 4 times 1 times 18,000. 72,000. Which gives me 72,900. Excellent. That's the discriminant. That means that I can use the quadratic formula, and I can say that L is equal to, because that's the variable in the equation here, L is equal to the negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Excellent. Now, negative b means the opposite of b, and b in this case is 30, so the opposite of 30 is negative 30. Plus or minus the square root of 72,900 over 2 times a, and a in this case is 1, so that's just 2 times 1, and that gives us 2. And then you could just top these in with 1 plus and 1 minus. If you want, that would work out perfectly well. In fact, I recommend it. Use the alpha y equals enter on the calculator and do that. I'll go ahead and show you that at the end of this video so you can see how that works. But if you don't want to do that yet, you can go ahead and just do the square root of 72,900. Type that into the calculator and that will give you 270. So that's negative 30 plus or minus 270 all over 2. So this gives us negative 30 minus 270 over 2, comma, negative 30 plus 270 all over 2. Now, negative 30 minus 270 is negative 300. Negative 300 over 2 is negative 150. Negative 30 plus 270 is 240. 240 divided by 2 is 120. So it gives us negative 150 and positive 120. By the way, those are the two numbers that multiply to give you 18,000. And notice that there's a difference of 30 between the two. Excellent. Here's the thing though. These are both L, which means I need to reject that negative 150 because L represents the length of the rectangle. So only the positive 120 is what L is going to be. Now, W is 2L plus 60. So that tells me that W, which is 2L plus 60, is going to be 2 times 120 plus 60. 2 times 120 is 240, plus 60 is 300. And the units for these will be in yards. Therefore, what's the question asking for again? The dimensions of the lot is the length and the width. So, the dimensions of the lot are 120 yards by 300 yards. Outstanding. Well, there you go. That is everything we did in this video so far. But I want to go ahead and show you how to go ahead and type in this right here into the calculator. So, I'll see you in the calculator. Okay, welcome to the calculator. Let's go ahead and see how this works. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use alpha y equals enter. And notice we have a square over square. And we're going to type in the negative 30. And then we have a plus or minus in our formula, but we don't have a plus or minus on the calculator. So instead, what we're going to do is say minus. Notice that's a minus, not a negative. That's very important, the distinction between these two. And then the square root of 72,900. And then use your right arrow until you go down to the denominator. And in the denominator, type in a 2. And then just click enter. Notice that it tells you the negative 150. Awesome. And then you can do the exact same thing again and get the other one. But instead of typing this in again, I recommend the following. Just do second enter and notice that it gives you the previous thing that you just typed in, and then you could just use the left arrow and go left until you reach the minus here and make that a plus. Click enter again. Notice that that gives you that 120 that we arrived at as well. Alrighty, well, I believe that that is actually it for this entire video. I will see you in the next one. Have fun.